Welcome to the AI Ireland podcast, your window into the world of AI innovation on the island of Ireland. Join us as we explore how AI is harnessed to tackle both business and societal challenges, revealing the cutting-edge solutions emerging from this vibrant AI community. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates and insights in the world of AI. We are really happy to be speaking with our finalists for this year's Best Application of AI, Women in the AI category. And we've got Meghan Dowling, and Meghan Dowling is an ASR scientist at TPRO. And we're really happy to have her. And we are coming live from Guinness Enterprise Centre in Dublin 8. Meghan, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thanks so much for having me, and I'm so happy to be nominated.
Tell us a little bit what an ASR scientist is for everyone who's listening in.
Sure. So ASR is automatic speech recognition. So basically converting voice into text. So in my role, we do speech to text in a medical context, so for clinicians.
So how did you even get into that field? I suppose when you're 4 or 5, do you kind of dream to get into there, or how did you fall into it?
Yeah, it's funny. So when I was in secondary school, I knew I wanted to study computer science, but Irish was another passion of mine. And to me, they seemed totally different. You couldn't do the two things, but actually there's a course in Ireland, computer science and linguistics in Irish. So that's how I got into the computational linguistics field. I ended up with a PhD in Irish machine translation, which led to a postdoc in medical machine translation. And during both those experiences, I really liked, in my PhD, I was making Irish machine translation for the Irish government. So it was a real product that was helping people and was being used. So when I saw the role of ASR scientist in TPRO, making ASR in medical settings, I just knew it was for me.
Yeah. And for people that haven't listened to our previous episode on TPRO, can you tell us a little bit what TPRO does?
Sure. So TPRO is dedicated to addressing the significant documentation burden for clinicians. So if you think of anyone who's in the medical field, ask them why did they go into it. None of them is going to say paperwork, but yet they spend more than 50% of their time doing documentation, doing paperwork. So it's our aim to try and minimize this through speech technologies.
It's such an incredible waste that our best and brightest are doing 50%. Probably, I'd say that's even an understatement. 50%
Absolutely.
of their work in paperwork when they could be actually engaging, helping, making such a difference to people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the main focus of anyone in healthcare. And as you say, these are conservative figures. It's not taking into account, if they're working through their lunch break, if they're doing documentation before and after work. It just takes up so much of their time and it's so unnecessary.
So how does the AI machine learning, how does it work to create this product? Because I'm guessing in this field, you can't not be accurate. You have to be accurate because you're dealing with people's lives.
Absolutely. One of the main challenges in medical ASR is we don't have the luxury of just having good enough accuracy. The accuracy has to be so high because you're dealing with patient safety, and a recognized word could lead to a misdiagnosis. It's so important. So we really strive for the absolute highest quality. And at the end of the day, all of the doctors or the original person who dictated has the final say. The AI doesn't have the power, it's the doctors.
Yeah. So what kind of feedback are you getting from practitioners, clinicians? What are they telling you after they've used the product?
It's really encouraging hearing the feedback. We had feedback from one hospital saying that we've freed clinicians from their desks. And personally, that means just so much to me that we can make that kind of impact in hospitals in Ireland and abroad.
And why is it a challenging problem to solve? What makes it extra difficult?
There are a lot of challenges in medical ASR, and that's what makes it so interesting topic. There's the issue of all the specialized terminology. So if you think all of the medical terms, the disease names, all the procedure names, and then that's not even accounting for the person names, the place names. If you think, try and think of a general voice assistant trying to understand Quiva or Seamus, it's not going to do well, but it's really important for us. It's the patient's name or the doctor's name. Yeah. It has to be accurate. And for us, As I said, like a misrecognition is really, it's crucial.
Because if you even make a mistake on people's name, instantly you've lost trust.
You've lost the trust, and we're seeing this really big problem in medical ASR right now, which is hallucinations. So you may have seen that in large language models, which is really prevalent in. So a hallucination is when an AI system gives content that it wasn't asked for or was incorrect, but it sounds really confident. I'm sure if you've used any of the LLMs, you'll just get this really confident answer. And then, but if you think about it, you say, actually, that's not right at all. And when that happens in medical ASR, it's a huge problem. I've even seen the case in other systems where they've made up a completely different medication that just doesn't exist. So that's why we're steering totally clear of that. We make our in-house systems, the ones that are giving hallucinations are whisper-based. So we're in a different direction. We're not using whisper. Okay, we might have a misrecognized word, but we're never going to create or invent content.
And does that involve just getting a kind of a proprietary data set, or you're just endlessly tagging the data to make it really, really clean and clear, and then you're analyzing on that, so then you've got less issues coming down the track because your data is tagged?
Absolutely, the data is so important for us. We really want to make sure that it's really representative of the people who are using it. So I'm sure everyone can relate to using a voice assistant and not understanding you, and you maybe try louder or clearer. Eventually, I usually have to try an American accent. Okay, then it works. So we really try to have a lot of different accents in there so that our users can use it without having to alter their natural voice. We've also tagged our test set in terms of gender. So we have a gender balanced test set, and we're really proud to say that the performance is equal regardless of the gender of the speaker, which is a really common bias in AI and not something that's often tested for.
Yeah. So this year, you're in a very, very strong finalist category for women in AI. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about the impact that you've had from maybe mentors that have kind of, I don't know, shaped your life and work history or personal history.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been really lucky to have mentors over my career. I suppose my very first one was straight after my undergrad. I did an internship, and the advice they gave me, maybe a bit cliche, but if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And that really helps me with imposter syndrome, for example, in this amazing lineup of candidates, looking at these incredible women thinking, oh my God, should I be in the lineup with them? But looking back to that advice and say, okay, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So by extension, if you're not the smartest person, that's where you should be. That's how you learn and that's how you grow. And also in Ireland in general, there are so many role models currently and historically. One of my favourite historic ones is Kay McNulty, who the computing building in DCU is named after, and that's where I did my PhD. She moved in the 1920s to the US, speaking only Irish, and became one of the first computers of the ENIAC computer, which is one of the first digital computers ever. So that's been a real inspiration in my life, this Irish speaker, female computer scientist in the 1920s, like really, yeah.
That's fantastic. And tell us a little bit about how you're kind of leveling the playing field and kind of giving back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really important in T-Pro to support women in tech. We have diverse and unbiased hiring practices. And then, once you're in T-Pro, you're really encouraged to grow and to move on and be involved in mentorship programs as well.
Tell us a little bit where T-Pro is going now in the future. What does the roadmap look like?
Absolutely. So lots of promising things ahead. Hopefully we have our new co-pilot project, which is rather than just say the more traditional ASR speech to text, we could be having this conversation now as a doctor and a patient, and it can then take the transcript, maybe make one letter to the GP, one letter to the patient, maybe a report, or could even prompt questions of, okay, maybe ask about the patient's medical history, and just be another tool in the doctor's arsenal.
Meghan Dowling, ASR scientist. I'm very, very happy to have you on our podcast. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Did you know that there's over 200 podcasts on the AI Ireland podcast which showcase the best and brightest of AI being applied on the island of Ireland? If you're interested to find out more about how AI is being used day to day on the island of Ireland and abroad, why don't you subscribe to this podcast, and within 15 to 20 minutes, you'll have the opportunity to reimagine how you're seeing AI being worked in business, finance, healthcare. Outside of that, I hope you subscribe and enjoy the episodes.